Okay, welcome back everyone to our 10-year anniversary series from OPDD, where we highlight alumni from the program to celebrate 10 years this fall and spring. This episode, we've got Evan Loomis here, class of 2024, an industrial designer and developer at Shyft. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm so stoked.
It's great to have you here. Um, on this series, we've really just been trying to tell stories of like people's time in the program and how they found it, what they've been doing since. And I'm curious, I think your story is a little different in some ways. I think a lot of people transfer into the program.
Mhm.
Um, but I think your background, your interests, like your work in art is interesting and unique. So I'm curious, like how did you find the program? Maybe like tee that up for us. Tell us how you
Right.
came across the program.
Right. Yeah. So I started school at Snow College. I was studying fine art. So I was like, by all definitions, an like a traditional artist. So like I was an oil painter and I did like portraits and stuff. So I was just interested in doing something creative and something that I was passionate about. Um, and I think as I was learning about art, I realized that I was also interested in working with a team. I was interested in being collaborative. I was kind of interested in a more like high energy environment. And like I truly like love like painting and I love doing art, but like I also like didn't want to be like cooped up like alone like all day, you know? So I kind of started to just explore other options. There was an industrial designer that came and spoke to us. He was a bag designer at Under Armour, and he kind of opened up my eyes a lot about how being creative can take so many different forms and it can be interesting, it can be fulfilling, it can be, you know, lucrative in some ways, like it just kind of opened my eyes to what like creativity really could be in terms of a job. Um, so yeah, I think I mean, naturally, I grew up camping and, hiking and, just living in the mountains. I spent multiple summers living in a tent in the mountains. Um, so I was kind of like, when I was finishing my art degree, I was trying to figure out like how can I figure out this like industrial design thing, but also kind of blend it with all the other things that I'm interested in. So outdoor product design kind of felt like just like the natural segue for me.
That's awesome. And at the time, like there's very few, well, and still there's very few like physical product design programs in Utah. Like
Yeah,
there's BYU's industrial design program, there's us, like Slick has the Fashion Institute. So like there's not a lot of opportunities for like physical product design and like channeling that art, that creativity into like physical product creation, which I
yeah.
think is unique, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely it felt like kind of I don't know. I think what I've realized is like everything I've done like out of necessity. It's like I have to do this. Like I have to go be creative and I have to, you know? And so like coming to Utah State just felt like, oh my gosh, like I have to do this. Like there's kind of no other option for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. And you found a way into the program, like transferring,
Mhm.
like a lot of people transfer into the program, but like I think you kind of like forged a path by like coming in from a different school with like 2 years of experience already, um, which is unique. And I think coming in like with that art background is definitely unique. Like where did that creativity start for you? Like when did you realize you were like a creative person?
Uh, Man, that's kind of hard to say. Like in elementary school, like I stole all my teacher's scratch paper and was constantly drawing. My parents told me stories about Frank Lloyd Wright as a kid. Like those were like my bedtime stories. Um, so like I was really interested, like as a kid, I was like, I want to be an architect because Frank Lloyd Wright was an architect. And I took some drafting classes in high school. And I realized like I don't think I actually want to be an architect. I think I just want to be like a creative person. Like I think Frank Lloyd Wright was so much more than an architect. He was an inventor, he was an innovator, he was a creative thinker. He was kind of a jack of all trades. Um, and I think what I realized is I gravitated more towards that um, than actually like the medium of like creating a building. Um, and also during high school, I got really into my art classes. I was drawing and painting. Um, I was participating in competitions. I was holding shows. Like that stuff was like super, super fascinating to me. Um, and so when I realized that you could go to college and actually study art, I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was like possible. So yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think in terms of just like creativity was just like something that I was just hungry for. It was just something that I like just always felt interested in. And it just I think I I have a hard time kind of like knowing or I don't know. I like a lot of people will say like, oh, like someone's like gifted for or they have a special talent for creativity, and I don't like I think it's something that can be trained, but I think there is like a natural interest that makes people just work harder at that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, I want to transition into like coming into the program, what that was like. But I
Yeah.
am curious, like as someone who studied art but then came in and studied design, like what do you think the differences are between the two? And what like how do you think having an art background like helped you study design?
Um, so like when I was in the art program, I wasn't artsy enough, and when I was in the design program, I was too artsy. I think like I have constantly just kind of like rode that line. I think yeah, I think when you start looking at design, there's more to it than just aesthetics. I think in the art world, like there's aesthetics and there's the craft. But when you're looking at design, you're looking at a lot of other factors. You're looking at, is a person realistically going to interact with um, a product or something, or a material or whatever. Um, where like in art, you kind of leave that up to the viewer, and you let them interpret it however they want to. But in design, it's a little bit different. Like you kind of want to guide people towards the best use or a safe use or the intended use. So I think there's a level of communication and understanding that I really had to learn while I was at Utah State for sure.
That's awesome. That's really great. What did you think you wanted to do when you started in the program? So your first month, first semester, like what were your goals going into the program? What did you want to leave the program with?
Um, I didn't know a single thing about computers at all. Like, I didn't know how to use Adobe Illustrator. I didn't know how to do 3D modeling. Like, I didn't know any of that. Like, literally, I just showed up knowing how to like make stuff with like charcoal. Like, I don't know. Like, I only knew like stuff on paper or like a little bit of like I worked with metal and I worked with wood. Um, but I just like I had no idea like how to do any of the digital stuff. So that was kind of a big that was a that was probably the biggest learning curve for me. Um, and it truly felt like I was learning a new language.
How do you feel about that language now? Do you feel like you're
Oh,
comfortable,
I
proficient?
feel fluent for sure. Like it's really really crazy. Like sometimes I just like look down at my hands and I'm just like rocking these hotkeys and I'm just like there's no way like me even like 5 years ago, like there's no way I could have done what I do now. Um, and it truly like, especially like like when I'm working with brands or when I'm working with other creatives, like I genuinely feel like I have like a skill that like is unique compared to other people. Like it is like a step above for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, your experience in the program was also unique in that you participated in our exchange program and went to France. Do you want to talk a little bit about that experience and like what that was like? And because that's a unique opportunity that not most students generally get to participate in.
Right. Yeah. So Utah State's super unique with our major is outdoor product design. There's other design programs where you can like emphasize in like sporting goods or, stuff like that. Um, but having a major specifically in the outdoors is unique to this side of the world. Um, and there's only one other program like it, and that's Outdoor Sports Valley Academy in Annecy, France. Um, so yeah, it was actually you, Chase, that introduced it to me. Like I had no idea about the program, and I had some kind of like credit discrepancies or whatever, and things just weren't going to time out super well for me towards the end there. So you were like, hey, let's just send you to France. Like, go have a full workload, go have more experiences. And so, yeah, I just sold all my stuff and packed up and went out there.
Well, and it's unique in that like we have an agreement in place and if you want to, like you can get like a full years of credit, like your junior or senior year. We'll basically just count it. Um is that what you did or did you I forget or did you tack on like another year basically to do it?
No, so basically my last year in the program, we supplemented at OSV. So yeah, so I did basically like my final year in France. And that experience was like super amazing. Like I think the biggest thing that I learned was just kind of this European perspective on sustainability and production. Their their philosophy on creating products is a little bit different, and it was just super fascinating. And I noticed that some things that they talked about, we've just recently started adopting in the US. So it was really interesting, kind of like connecting the dots between like the regulations that they follow and seeing how that translates into an American market. So yeah, it was fascinating. So
That's great. That's a
yeah.
really unique and cool opportunity. And you ended up like if you do the program, you can graduate with 2 degrees basically. Is that right?
Yeah, so I graduated with two bachelor's degrees. So I got a bachelor's degree from outdoor product design and development at Utah State, and then I got a bachelor's degree in outdoor soft goods design and development in OSV. So it
That's
was just like a little bit more of an emphasis just on the soft goods
Yeah.
element.
And what was the difference do you felt like between the classes? This is something I try to communicate to students, but I haven't done it. So, but I try to say it's not OPDD France.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not.
So, how would you describe the courses over there? What are those like?
Um, well, it's soft goods heavy. It's development heavy. So and the professors there are all like working professionals. So their job like isn't full-time professor. Their job is full-time developer at Decathlon or full-time shoe designer at Solomon or developer at Mie or something like that. So they just take off a day or two to come teach a class. So they basically just like open up their Adobe Illustrator and just like show us tech packs that they're working on and stuff. Um, so in a lot of ways, it's a little bit like less organized. Um, but I think like the exposure to like professionals like in the industry, like currently working was like super valuable.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any memories from the program that particularly stand out or classes that were especially influential? I've used the phrase like memorable studio moments or late night like prototyping disasters. Like what memories like come up for you about your time in the program? Any in particular?
Um, oh man, there were a bunch. I would say like in terms of uh Man, it's like I feel like I have a ton. So in terms of classes, I remember like history of outdoor products was super interesting to me. I feel like learning about the Bergen's rucksack was like super fascinating. Like that kind of opened up like a whole new perspective for me that the outdoor industry truly was like built by the military. And we continue like the outdoor industry and the military continue to just be this like intertwined thing. Um, so yeah, the Bergen's rucks, I remember like actually after that class, I went and bought a Bergen's rucksack at Smith and Edwards because I was just like, this is like too cool. I became like a fanboy of the Bergen's rucksack. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Um, I think like every time I learned a new skill, I got really, really excited about it and I just would do like these extra projects. So I remember um like inviting like my friends and classmates like out to like the studio I was working at and we would just like grab some fabric that we would just like find somewhere and we would just like build random things and just because we had just learned how to sew so we would just like sew something, you know. um I think like those memories like I'll kind of never forget, like just like spending like late nights just like sewing up just like a random like tote bag or something just to like practice with just with people, you know. I think probably the most memorable um time I just like whipped something up for fun was right outside my apartment. There was like these big industrial garbage cans, and people were like cleaning up for the year. So there's like always a bunch of furniture and stuff. And there was like this old couch right by like the garbage cans that had this like super funky like embroidered fabric on it. It was some like jacquard fabric. It was like super like wild, think like a grandma couch, you know? Um, but yeah, so I just like totally like stripped that thing and because it was going to the dump anyway and you know just like made a bunch of bags. So like my garbage bags are like some of my favorite that I still have.
That's awesome. That's
That
great.
that actually ended up getting me like my first like real design job.
Oh, say more.
Yeah, because I just posted about it and I was like, check out these garbage bags. Like I made them from stuff by the dumpster, you know? Um, and I was just working like a warehouse job. I was framing artwork for a company, Clementine Kids, like your wife works there. Um, and they saw that I was just like designing stuff. I was, you know, I was making bags out of like garbage couches, like, and it just kind of opened up like conversations from like the owners of the company. They were just like, oh, like you can make bags? Like that's crazy. Like I didn't know you could do all that. And it kind of just opened up the door for uh, opportunities with them. They wanted to start an outdoor brand, so they were like, hey, I think you're our guy. So.
That's great. What did your so you graduate from two programs and then you've got to figure out like what happens next professionally. Like what was that transition to career like for you going from college to career?
It was super hard. Um, I think it's hard for anyone like transitioning from college to like full-time job. I was lucky enough to have had like a lot of experiences while I was in school. Like I was talking about, like I had that experience, you know, designing for a new brand. Um, so that was super helpful. I was able to, you know, go through the process all the way from design through development, and even, you know, help on like the back end in terms of like sales and marketing and stuff. Like I felt like I got to see like the entire process of a product. That was really helpful. Um, and I really did just try to take advantage of as many opportunities as I could. I, you know, did all the design sprints that you held. Like I really tried to like be involved with those, and just get exposed as much as I could. Um, and that ended up giving me a lot of really great contacts, like people that I still like chat with. Um, but yeah, I think it was just kind of like it was a slow progression through school. Like I had that internship with YY Vertical while I was in France, after I studied there. And that was like every experience I had was just like step by step, just a little bit more like I was just given like a little bit more responsibility, and like the workload was a little bit heavier, and they just like they relied on me a little bit more. Um, and so by the time I had, finished school, I'd created one product with Bridger Gear, that startup, and then I went to YY Vertical where I had, created a whole line of products. And then I think after that, it was just like a major grind. Like I thought it would be a little bit easier. Um, but I just worked really hard to like portray myself authentically and accurately on social media, on LinkedIn. I taught myself, new skills. I was trying to learn new programs, and I was really just trying to, just show that to people. And it ended up paying off, at some point. I mean, obviously, I applied for like 100 jobs, but yeah.
Yeah. What is your job now, and what does that day to day look like?
Yeah, so I'm working at a company called Shyft Global. They just go by Shyft with a Y because they started in the 2010s. Um, but yeah, so they're a supply chain management company primarily. Um, but within that, they want to like holistically help clients, not just with production. They want to help them all the way from concept all the way through development and then into production. So they have a design studio built in-house. So I work with, a very small team. It's me and my manager. We, you know, uh are just like client-facing designers, and we we iterate with them. We, design concepts, and then we develop the products, create prototypes, review them with them, update the tech packs. Like we do it all the way until I hand it off to our production team. So,
That's great.
yeah.
I've asked this question of a lot of the alums. Like, how long do you feel like it takes until you feel like you belong in the industry, or you feel maybe not comfortable, but you feel like you can well, maybe belong is the right term, but how long do you feel like it's taken, or are you still in that process of feeling like, okay, I'm a working professional?
Um, I've felt like imposter syndrome with every job that I've felt, but it's been like slightly less throughout like the few years. So like the first job I had, I felt like I was like wired. Like for 3 months, I was like designing products and stuff, and I felt like I was just like shaking. Like I couldn't like even like sketch a straight line because it was just like I was so just like terrified and excited and like what am I doing? Like am I even allowed to do this? Um, and I think it's just like I've felt slowly like more comfortable with every job I've had, with skills that I've kind of picked up. Um, but I don't know. I think like I don't know. I It's kind of a hard question to answer, to be honest. Like I think like if you're not pushing yourself, you're not like going where you need to. So I don't know if like comfortable is really the goal in this kind of work. I think like um my goal at least is to always be pushing myself and to always be like, slightly like stretching. Um but I would say like I definitely have started to feel a little bit more comfortable like speaking to clients as someone who like knows what they're talking about. Um, I've become like more confident going to like, functional fabric fair or other expos, and I feel like I can talk to people as if, I'm a peer. Um, so I don't know. I don't exactly know what did that. Um, I I I wonder if it's just experience and you just learn the jargon, and there's just kind of like there's kind of just a shared language. Like I don't think anybody actually cares like how much experience you have or whatever. Like if you can just like talk and relate. I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's really good advice. Do you have any other parting advice or thoughts for like current students or maybe even beyond that, like other people who are like trying to break into this industry or are in the industry already? I guess what advice would you have for students of the program?
Yeah. Um, no one is going to tell you that you are a designer or a developer or a product line manager or anything. Like, no one's ever going to tell you that. There's never going to be a moment where you are like crowned with, the pedestal that like I am a designer now. Like, officially, I'm a designer. Like, you have to just decide that for yourself. And as a student, you can decide that right now. Um, so I think that's probably the most key thing. I think a lot of people, like there were times for me where I felt like, oh, I need to wait until I have more experience, or I need to wait until I get better, or I need to wait until, you know, someone hires me, or I need to wait, there needs to be something that validates that I'm allowed to do this. Um, but I realized that it's actually the other way around. Like, you need to decide that you are this right now. Like, it's not, I'm going to be a designer, it's, I am a designer. Like, I'm a freshman in college and I'm a designer, you know? I think that's what gives you credibility. It's what, gives you that drive, Like when you meet people, it's like, "Oh, I'm in college. I'm like studying to be a designer one day." It's like, "No, I'm a designer. Like I'm learning more about it, but I'm a designer. Like if you have opportunities to give me, like give them to me, you know?"
Yeah.
So, I think that's I saw it in the US and I saw it in France. Like I think people are afraid to give themselves like the title that they want.
Hmm. I think that's great. I should just play this for all of my students in the professional development class. This is really good.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think people realize in the program like how specialized they are. Like no one else is studying what they're studying. Like no one else studied what I studied. Um, except unless you like went through the track that I went through. Like just entering this program makes you extremely specialized, and
yeah,
that's worth something. That's
yeah.
worth the title.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you all come with your own experiences, right? It's like you come with your art background, right? That
Mhm.
that shapes who you are and what the program went to you. And then you go to France, right? Like it's
Right.
everyone has the program's unique, but you all come with your own experiences too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great. Super helpful. Any parting thoughts or should we wrap it there?
Uh, no, this has been great.
Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you taking the time. I'll end the recording here, but this has been
Cool.
awesome. Thank you.